Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we take a stack of information and extract the most important nuggets of knowledge to help you become well-informed quickly. Today we're embarking on a really fascinating deep dive into Judaism.
Sounds great.
Our source material for this deep dive is quite unique, actually. It weaves together a highly personal account, someone's visit to a Jewish synagogue, with a more comprehensive overview of Jewish history and traditions. So our mission really is to guide you through these sources. We'll go from that immersive, kind of on-the-ground experience right up to the foundational beliefs and significant historical events. The goal is for you to walk away with a genuinely richer understanding.
Yeah, and that blend, the personal observation and the historical context, it's particularly powerful, I think.
How so?
Well, because it lets us see how these ancient traditions and, profound beliefs actually show up, how they manifest in the everyday lives and practices of people today.
Right, connecting the dots.
Exactly. We'll be connecting those dots, helping you understand not just what happened, in history or during a service, but why it matters. Its enduring significance.
Okay, so let's begin with that personal account then.
Okay.
It starts with this visitor's journey to a Jewish temple or synagogue. And their first impression was that the place was kind of hidden, even confused the Maps app, apparently. From the outside, it looked kind of like an ancient synagogue, garden gates, that sort of thing.
Okay, a bit unassuming from the outside, maybe.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
And here's where the observations get really interesting. They noticed a man, the source calls him Fred, wearing what they described as Middle Eastern attire and a white cap.
Ah, the cap.
Yeah, this cap was later identified as a kippah. And the visitor noted a lot of men wearing this, including the leader of the service. Now we use the term pastor, though we know in a synagogue that role is usually a rabbi.
Right.
It seemed almost required.
Well, that observation, it perfectly captures a key aspect of Jewish practice, especially during prayer.
So it is required sometimes.
Often, yes. The kippah isn't just like an accessory. It's a visible sign of devotion and respect. Often worn during prayer, study, or for some observant men, all the time.
Interesting. And the source mentioned variety.
It did. It highlights that there's probably no universal size for kippahs. People wear different sizes, small to large, and very different colors and designs.
So personal expression within the tradition.
Exactly. It speaks to both personal choice and that communal tradition.
Okay, so moving inside the synagogue, the description, amazing and stunning. Looked like a lot of the temples that are depicted in the movies.
Wow, quite an impression.
Yeah, and it was loud, crowded on the day they visited. Lots of activity. They saw a lot of Hebrew writing, walls, posters, the altar. Oh, and they enjoyed some cookies that were offered there too.
Can't beat cookies. But the Hebrew script is significant, of course.
Right. Now, the service itself, described as an experience. Very different. The visitor admitted didn't know too much of what was going on at times.
Understandable for a first visit.
It began with everyone standing, singing the first hymn. Then the greeting, Shabbat Shalom.
Peaceful Shabbat.
Or have a great Shabbat, yeah. The source notes Shabbat means rest day and connects it potentially to the origin of Saturday.
And this leads to a really profound observation in the source material.
What's that?
The timing. The service took place on a Friday evening, not Saturday.
Yes. That apparently haunted the visitor until they did some research.
Right, because for Jews, the new day doesn't start at midnight like it does for us.
It starts the evening before.
Exactly. The days begin on the evening before. And this isn't just, a scheduling quirk. It reflects a different way of marking time.
A different calendar.
Different calendrical system.
Sure.
The source calls it a solar-lunar calendar.
Yeah.
It shows how these ancient understandings of time, of natural cycles, continue to shape religious observance today. It's really foundational.
Okay, so the service itself, what did it involve?
Mostly singing and praying, according to the account.
Right. Singing and praying,
Right.
including paying respects to loved ones. Kids also sang, which they noted meant it wasn't a full service, but was still pretty fun to hear.
A family atmosphere, sounds like.
Yeah. And it concluded with a long reading. The visitor assumed it was important, drawing a parallel, kind of like a gospel for us Catholics, seeing as central.
That would likely be the Torah reading, yes. Very simple.
Followed by the rabbi's sermon, the opening of gates, some kneeling, and then a final prayer.
A whole arc to the service.
Definitely. So, from those really vivid personal observations, let's zoom out a bit. Let's place them within the immense tapestry of Jewish history.
Okay.
The source notes that Judaism's history is very similar to the start of the Bible in Christianity.
Makes sense.
Because it's based on the first part of the Bible, what Christians call the Old Testament. Everything taking place before Jesus.
That connection is absolutely vital. For Jews, this collection of texts isn't the Old Testament, it's the Hebrew Bible, or Tanakh,
Tanakh.
which is actually 24 books, broadly divided into 3 main sections: the Torah, Nevi'im, and Ketuvim.
Right, the Torah, that contains the instruction and law of God.
Precisely. Also known as the Pentateuch. The first 5 books, Genesis through Deuteronomy, they recount the history of the Israelites from, well, the creation of the world to about where they get to the Promised Land.
And guidance on how to live.
Yes, guidance on living moral and ritually acceptable lives.
Got it. And the Nevi'im.
Noam is Hebrew for prophets.
Like Moses.
Like Moses, exactly, believed to speak for God to the Israelites. And the third section, Ketuvim.
Ketuvim means writings.
That's it. Includes songs, prayers, and wisdom literature. The source specifically mentions Job, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes offering practical advice, plus some historical texts.
Okay? And the people who follow Judaism are called Jews, their core belief.
Only one God. Monotheism.
A revolutionary idea for its time.
Absolutely. And it forms the bedrock not just of Judaism, but Christianity and Islam too. Its origins are traced back to Abraham.
Lived in Ur a long time ago.
That's the tradition. And God made a special promise called a covenant with Abraham,
Covenant.
saying his children and grandchildren would become a great nation, the Israelites. That's from Genesis. This lineage continued through Abraham's son Isaac and Isaac's son Jacob, whose 12 sons became the legendary 12 tribes of Israel.
The key figure after them was Moses, right? Very important.
Hugely important. At a time when the Israelites were enslaved in Egypt, the source says they were treated like shit, facing brutal oppression. God told Moses to lead them out.
The Exodus.
The Exodus, yes. This epic journey towards the land God had promised Abraham, and along the way, crucially, God gave Moses the Torah,
Including the Ten Commandments.
the 10 Commandments and other vital laws shaping the moral and legal framework for the Jewish people.
So fast forward, many years after the Exodus, the Israelites eventually established a kingdom.
They do. A great kingdom in the land of Israel, with famous kings like David and his son Solomon.
Solomon built the temple in Jerusalem.
Yes, the beautiful temple in Jerusalem for worship, a central hub for their spiritual and national life.
But that temple didn't last forever.
No. This raises that important question. What happened? The source explains trouble came when other nations attacked.
The Babylonians.
The Babylonians destroyed that first temple in 586 BCE, and they forcibly removed, exiled, many Jews from their land.
But a second temple was built later.
It was. But then, centuries later, the Romans destroyed that one too in 70 CE.
Wow. So another huge upheaval.
A massive one. It led many Jewish people to leave their homeland again. This scattering, this spreading out is called the diaspora.
The diaspora. And what's truly remarkable, the source emphasizes, is that even when they were far from home, Jews kept their religion and traditions.
Resilience.
Despite facing many hard times being treated unfairly. Anti-Semitism was a severe, persistent issue.
It certainly was, and the source highlights one of the absolute worst periods during World War II.
A Holocaust.
Yes. When at least 6 million Jews were dead, the source notes the vibrant Ashkenazic and Sephardic cultures built over millennia in Europe were all but eradicated.
It's just devastating. It mentions the Nazi Party, Hitler blaming Jews for Germany's defeat in WWI.
Yes, falsely blaming them. His book, Mein Kampf, detailed this fabricated Jewish conspiracy to destroy the so-called Aryan world, a term Hitler linked with racial purity.
And when Hitler became chancellor in 1933,
Discriminatory laws came fast, systematically eliminating Jews from public life, stripping citizenship, leading to removal from families, mass killings, deportations to concentration camps.
Auschwitz being the most infamous.
Correct. And the source tragically notes that others were targeted too, saying
Right.
LGBTQ plus groups were also being targeted and getting sent to these.
Unspeakable atrocity.
Truly, but despite everything, overwhelming persecution. The source says Jewish people never gave up.
That resilience again.
An incredible, enduring ability to maintain identity, tradition, faith, despite displacement and immense suffering. It really is a profound testament to the power of shared culture and faith.
And then a pivotal moment after the war in 1948.
Yes, the modern country of Israel was created. The United Nations voted to establish a Jewish state in Palestine.
Which gave hope to Jews around the world.
Immense hope, yes, but the source is careful to point out the complexity.
How so?
While this creation offered hope, it also, and I'm quoting the source, created a new refugee problem for the indigenous Arab people of Palestine, many of whom would be forced out of their homes,
Right, leading to conflict.
leading to ongoing many conflicts, the source says, that continue today with both nations. It highlights that very complex, difficult historical legacy of the region.
Understood. So bringing it to the present day, what does Judaism look like now?
Well, currently there are about 15 million Jewish people around the world.
Living where mainly?
In Israel, certainly, but also large populations in the United States, Canada, France, and, many other countries too.
And the core teachings today?
Judaism today teaches people to be kind, to help others, and to believe in one God. Those core tenets remain.
And its influence extends beyond Judaism itself, doesn't it?
Absolutely crucial point. As the source notes, Judaism has also helped shape other religions like Christianity and Islam,
Both believe in one God.
and share some of the same foundational stories from the Hebrew Bible. It highlights Judaism's really foundational role in the spiritual landscape of, much of the world.
So from that intimate look inside a synagogue service, feeling the atmosphere, seeing the kippah, questioning the Friday timing, all the way to this sweeping history, Abraham's covenant, Moses, the temples, the diaspora, the Holocaust, the founding of modern Israel. We've covered so much ground.
We really have.
We've seen how practices observed today connect back to ancient traditions and how this long, often difficult historical journey has shaped a remarkably resilient and vibrant faith.
Yeah, and what becomes really clear, I think, is how knowledge, when you understand it, when you apply it, helps us appreciate the richness, the complexity of human history and belief.
Right.
This deep dive shows that even, a single encounter, like that synagogue visit, when you view it through the lens of history, it can reveal really profound insights into a culture and its enduring values.
It's a powerful connection. So, as you, our listener, reflect on all this, maybe consider this idea of scattering in the diaspora, being forced to leave a homeland, yet finding ways to maintain identity and tradition across generations, across continents. It isn't just a historical event for one group,
No, it's a recurring theme, really, across human experience.
and it continues to shape global societies, personal identities even today. It leaves us with a question, perhaps. What does it truly mean to belong? When your home might not be a fixed place on a map, but maybe it's a tradition, a history, a community that you carry within you.